Hello, everybody. My name is Ayodeji Oluwalana. I'm a licensed financial professional. I'm sure many of you have seen me before in Panapa meetings, and maybe we'll even had a one-on-one conversation. I just wanted to share some of these financial tips that every international student must know in the US as a licensed financial professional and also someone that was once an international student. I think these tips will be very helpful for everyone. And, knowing fully well that moving to the United States as an international student provides a huge opportunity for all of us. And at the same time, it also presents a unique challenges, including financial challenges. So I think it's very important for us to understand the American financial system and how crucial it is for our success and our peace of mind, during our studies here at Penn State. So basically, this presentation will focus on financial tips every international student, like I said earlier on, must know to better position themselves, position their finances, effectively to focus on, on your academic journey. So I'll be sharing some tips, just like I said. But the first tip I wanted to, share with you is, every international student must understand the credit score system and how you can use your credit card wisely. These are some of the mistakes I personally made. The mistake I made when I was an international student was the fact that I came with this mentality of the fact that I don't want to be in debt. I don't need a credit card, things like that. But over time, I realized that that's the system I found myself. I needed to get a credit card and all that. So, and I'm glad I did. I quickly realized that I did about a year after I came to the US. And also having spoken with some financial folks back then, they told me that it's not just because, you want to be in debt, but it helps you, as you move along, in your stay in this country. So I think it's important for me to mention that and also to say that you need to understand the credit card system, and also how the credit card system works, in this country. Like I said, I think it's important for every international student to get a credit card, and there are quite a number of them. But I think Discover, Capital One, the ones that I think are designed for students that do not have a credit history. Another thing I want to mention when it comes to credit is um, that you need to use only between 10 to 30% of your credit limit. So, for example, if your credit limit is $1,000, keep your balance, below $300. And the reason being that you don't want to exceed that 30% utilization on ratio on your card. If you start moving, maybe you are maxing out your 1,000, for example, as your limit, you're exceeding that, or maxing it out, just taking the 1,000 and all that, it's going to significantly impact your credit. And also, it's very important to pay back in full whatever you spent on your card every month. So the credit card system, the way it works is, it's some 27 to 29 days billing cycle. So within that billing cycle, you are required, well, not necessarily required, but for you to be able to help your credit score, you need to be able to pay back the amount you've taken from your credit card. Nobody's saying that you shouldn't use your credit card for your purchase. For example, if you want to buy something for $200, instead of using your debit card, you know that you have the $200 in with you can use your credit card to buy that stuff, and you can actually just transfer the money from your debit account into the credit card. That way, the bank and the system sees that you are a good steward of that, of that credit card. The issue is, that you spend the money and you are not able to, pay back. That's always been the issue. Because if you don't have a good, and strong credit history in this country. It helps, it really impacts your ability to get loans, and do so many things. And also, if you eventually get a loan, you're going to be paying high interest rate compared to someone that has been very meticulous with their credit card. So it's very important to know that. Also, it's equally important as you're using your credit card, you need to monitor your credit score as well. And you know, Credit Karma is a good platform that you can, register and sign on, and you'll be able to monitor your credit score. And the reason why this is very important is the fact that you need to be able to know your credit score. You need to be able to know what's going on. Is any, fictitious activity going on your account? Credit Karma is a well-built system that will be able to alert you to say, hey, something is going on. Someone just did this and all that. So it's very important for you to have it. There's a mobile app that you can download if you've not already done that. So again, a good credit score, let's say above 700, helps you when you're, renting an apartment, you getting a credit card, or you have a good credit history. You don't need a co-signer to be able to rent an apartment. They'll be able to pull your credit. They'll be able to see your history. It helps you in getting loans at a very good rate. It helps you to secure lower insurance rates for your car. And even some jobs, do run your credit report. They want to be able to know for sure the person that they are employing, right? So all of these are very important. And when I was here, nobody told me all of these. But as I journeyed through, my stay here in this country, I was able to figure it out. And I felt like this is very important for me to be able to also share with all of you. Also, talking about tips, financial tips, budgeting is very, very important. And the reason why budgeting is very important is it helps you avoid overspending. It helps you, avoid overspending. Without budget, there's every tendency that you overspend. And one of the ways you can actually avoid that is to track what you're spending, every month. Monitor your expenses month after month. There are systems, there are, platforms that you can utilize or you can use to help you monitor how much you're spending. There are various apps, Mint, YNAB, Pocket Cards. Those are good platforms that you can explore to help you, monitor how much you're spending on a particular thing, or a particular thing or the other. And also, there's this rule, the 50-30-20 rule. When it comes to budgeting, 50% goes for your total monthly income. 50% should go to your needs in the sense of maybe your rent, your car insurance, utility and all that. Those are things that those are necessities. And also 30% should go to your wants. So for example, your subscription, things like that. And also 20% should go to your savings. 20% of your take home should actually be going into your savings. That's how you can actually live by and be comfortable in this country. But if your needs or even your wants are above 80%, then you need to look into that. So again, on this slide, you can see I kind of give an analogy of, for example, I picked coffee from Ghana. He may be spending $450 monthly on eating out and $50 on streaming devices. So by the end of the semester, he has actually landed in a spot where he needs to borrow money from his friends, right? So all of these are very important to note as an international student. Cooking at home, through meal preps. I know everybody's busy, everybody's in grad school, finding time to, cook at home through meal preps not only saves money, but also saves time because, everybody's busy. So rather than having to, do DoorDash or Uber Eats and all that, those things add up before you know it. Maximizing student discounts and financial aid. This is very, very important. Most students don't take advantage of these. There are always student discounts. And one thing I've realized about this country is the fact that if you don't ask, you won't get it, right? So many retailers and service providers do offer, significant student discounts, but usually most of them don't really advertise that. It's always good to kind of like ask, whatever, maybe even streaming services, retail stores, ask them, do they offer student discount? You'll be shocked that, most of them do. So take advantage of that. I took advantage of that while I was in school. So that's something that can potentially help you. Also, there are quite a number of university resources when it comes to grants and financial aid. I know international students does not qualify for financial aid, but there are grants, mini scholarships here and there that can help you, help you mitigate some financial expenses. Like for example, when I was in school, my tuition was covered, but my housing wasn't covered. But luckily enough, I learned about a mini grant to be able to subsidize my housing. And to my greatest amazement, being the first Nigerian in the program, I was able to get a full ride for my housing for a year. And most of us always think that, or we assume that we don't qualify, for some of these things. So, but again, there are resources out there that you can take advantage of. Also, talking about on-campus, employment, I know international students are allowed to work on campus legally 20 hours per week. I know most of us are the TA, GA. You might be surprised. Maybe your T or G is taking maybe 15 hours. You might still be able to do 5 hours of work somewhere on campus. That's also an additional opportunity for you to make some money. I know everybody's busy, like I said earlier on, but I think it's very important, to look around, and especially if your workload is lighter, on campus employment that you can take advantage of. There's federal work study, there's state work study, there's institutional work study. So look into those, and if you need further help in this area, you can reach out to Isa. I'm sure Isa will be able to guide you. Again, I gave an example of Kofi, who made a mistake of paying $150 for a Microsoft Office, which is, part of student status. Amazon Prime offers student discounts. And for me, even when I was in school, I took advantage of that a year after, even after I graduated, took advantage of the Amazon Prime. You'll be shocked. Some people may not even know that, oh, as a student, I have to pay, I get the opportunity to pay half of the Amazon Prime subscription. So these are things that, personally, has really helped me. And I think I just felt like international students can take advantage of. I just don't want to assume that most people know, and that's why I'm putting all this information out. So talking about smart international money transfer, I'm sure majority of us do send money back home. Prior to maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago, money transfer has always been through either RAI or Western Union. I remember when my first money that I sent to Nigeria back then, I used Western Union, and, almost half of the money I was spending was paid for fees. But as things improved, technology and all that, there are different apps started coming up, with even less fees, and which has been a huge, huge blessing for international students. So I'm sure majority of us already are doing this. You have a different platform through which you send money back home. So what I just wanted to mention, just for people that may not have some of these resources, and I just wanted to share that we have Wise, which was formerly TransferWise. We have Remitly, Lemfi, Tap, depending on the country. Quite a number of them. We have SendWave. There's quite a number of them out there. So take advantage of all of that rather than using the conventional old ways of sending money, which will charge you more. This is very important. Talking about taxes, your tax obligation. It's very, very important. As an international student, you need to know your filing requirements. all international students must file this form called Form 8843, even with zero income. If you don't have any, if you are not receiving any form of income as international student, you're still required to file the Form 8843. And those who work must also file, there's an additional forms as non-resident. So it's very important. Taxes is one area the US government don't joke with. For you to be able to do anything down the line, your tax record will, you will always be required, and, there right now, prior to I think maybe 15 years ago, tax filing was more of paper filing, do paper, do all the math and all that. But as technology advanced, there are special tax software that helps you prepare your taxes electronically. And programs like Spring Tax, I know Penn State offers that for international students. And these are designed for international students and scholars to navigate the complexity of the tax situation. So, of course, there are many other software that people can use, but I think from my experience, Spring Tax has been recommended for international students, maybe based on some of the intricacies of the software, that corresponds with the circumstances of international students. And it's something you can do by yourself, or you can actually seek professional help. Many universities offer free tax, assistance like Penn State, and it's something that you can take advantage of these resources. Not I didn't get to start filing my own taxes myself, not until about 4 or 5 years ago. I always give it out for someone to help me using this software. So, but as they do it every year, I look at what they do, things like that. And that's one thing I also want to mention. If you're giving it to a professional tax filer, make sure you know what they're doing, because it's all about you. It's not about them. If anything goes wrong down the line, you'll be held responsible, not them. So you need to stay on top of things. That's what I'm getting at. So it's very, very important that you keep an eye on this very important obligation as an F1 student. This is also very straightforward, banking wisely in the US. Opening a US bank account. There are bank accounts that, you can't just open, they come with charges and fees and all that. And likewise as well, there are some debit cards that you need to avoid as an international student, because some of these bank cards have a monthly maintenance fee, a minimum balance requirement, and if you don't meet it, you get charged. So it's always very important for international students to bank wisely. I was a victim of this, especially the debit card one, a few years ago when I was an international student. Excuse me. So it's very important to take note of that. And also, if you're someone that maybe you are still rooted back home and you need to do some international exchange, transfer and all that. There are different platforms. Revolut or Wise offers multi-currency accounts with favorable exchange rate. That's also a resource for you. Healthcare cost. This is also very significant, just like the taxes. Yeah, I know most international students, if not all, are required to carry an health insurance as part of the requirement, because healthcare in this country is astronomical, right? So if you have the university insurance, most university insurance are often comprehensive, but also you need to check what coverage, that policy, the health insurance policy covers. So you need to know what that, covers as well. And also there are private insurance. Maybe, some of these private insurance, they offer more affordable options for elderly person, right? Elderly students. And also I want to emphasize the difference between urgent care and ER. ER stands for emergency room. So you can actually save hundreds of dollars, or not, even thousands of dollars, by exploring urgent care first for non-emergencies, rather than going directly to emergency room when you have non-emergency cases. So we were a victim of that. We didn't my wife and I didn't understand the difference between urgent care and ER until we were hit with a significant bill, and all that. So it's very important for non-emergency cases. I would strongly encourage you, especially if you have families, kids, wife, and all that, husband, explore urgent care. Most insurance will possibly cover that. The charges are a little bit, I'll probably say significantly lesser than going to the emergency room. So it's very, very important. And of course, the University Health Center is also a good place for you to be able to cut costs when it comes to healthcare. Take advantage of your insurance that you can use at the health center. And again, let me also emphasize the fact that please take your annual physicals very, very seriously. Every year you're required, well, not required. I think you're encouraged to go see your doctor once just to check everything, make sure everything you're in good order. Just they call it annual physicals and all that kind of stuff. So it's very important. Please take advantage of it. I know for most of us in Africa, if we are not sick or nothing's happening to us, we don't go to the doctor, right? So when things happen, now you don't want to wait until when things go wrong before you visit the hospital. It's just, regular routine check and all that kind of stuff. So it's very important. Because apparently you are paying a premium for the insurance anyways. Why not use it? And also dental insurance as well. You can take out it's part of the entire package. Take advantage of that as well. Talking about affordable housing, I gave a scenario here, rather than Kofi renting, getting a roommate in a two-bed, housing, he decides to rent a one-bedroom that is paying $1,500 per month, as opposed to be paying $800 if he had a roommate in a two-bed. If he had done the second option, with a roommate, you will potentially save $8,400 annually. So beyond the rent, also there's potential for you to be able to split, utilities, internet costs, and even grocery expenses, creating significant financial advantage. So finding affordable housing is also very, very important. I know some people prefer their privacy. I get that, but again, you want to be able to be responsible with your finances. And also, I know that the closer and a potential housing is to the campus, the more expensive it is. So if you can take advantage of the Kata bus and just commute, move a little bit away from campus to save costs, I think that would be really, really helpful. And lastly, talking about building your financial future, this is very, very important. Especially for people that are able to work on campus, or people that are graduating, or people that are on internship that can use the CPT to gain valuable work experience. Ensure that you do what is necessary on time. If, for example, if you are going on OPT you are graduating in May and you are supposed to start your OPT in June, by December of the previous year, start making inquiries on what is required to be able to file your OPT work authorization application to USCIS. And ISA will be able to guide you on that, because some people do wait till the last minute, and maybe you secured a job, and the only thing delaying you from starting the job is your work authorization, your OPT. You don't want to be in that circumstance. I've seen people, and also based off of what's going on right now, there's so much delay here and there. So you don't want to wait until the last minute before you do that. So I strongly encourage you. And once you start working, it is very, very important for you to start building wealth. Building wealth by diversifying your portfolio. I can't overemphasize this. This is something that nobody told me when I came into this country about diversifying, portfolio, until I became a licensed financial professional, that I now realized that, I wish I knew this information. But again, once you hear an information, it is what you do with it that really matters, right? So again, building wealth in this country is not by just putting money in your savings account or your checking account. There are portfolios, for example, the index universal life insurance policy, fixed index annuities, opening a high yield, savings account, and a certificate deposit are just few examples of portfolios that you can actually put your money into that can actually grow compounding for you. It's also, it's very important to start having this mindset of wealth building and legacy, laying a legacy in this country, because most of the wealthy, some of the things that most middle class folks do, the wealthy don't do it. You can't see a wealthy person putting their money, their funds in checking or savings account. The wealthy put their money work for them, not them working for money. So again, as international student, right from the get-go, once you're able to work and start earning something, even as grad student, I think it won't be out of place to start thinking about some of these things. And take, for example, you have a checking account. Majority of us have a checking account and a savings account. At the end of every month, your statement, the interest rate is 0.01%, right? And you can't build wealth that way, and you can't leave a legacy behind. That's not how the Elon Musk of this world, that's not how they built wealth, right? So again, the earlier you have this financial mindset on how to build wealth, the way you grow in this country, the way you build wealth, the way your path to financial freedom will be so rapid. So again, these are information that nobody ever told me until probably until I was able to be a financial professional about 3 years ago, and I decided to start doing things differently from the way I've ever done it before. So again, by educating yourself on personal finances early, you will avoid costly mistakes and set yourself up for success during your time, in the US, and you set even your kids, your family up for financial success. So again, if you want to talk more about some of these things, this is my contact information, my phone number and email. Feel free to reach out to me, or you run into me anytime. Feel free to stop me if you want to learn more about it. I can share some of my personal things that I've done and some of the things I'm currently doing, some of the pitfalls you need to avoid, things like that. Please reach out to me, and we'll be able to talk. Thank you for listening. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you around. Thank you.